Alright, hi, it's Wyatt again. We're gonna cook some steaks. First thing that we need to do is make sure that we have our grill preheated. Usually gonna get it to about 600 or 700 degrees before you're ready to go. Second thing that I always recommend when we're cooking steaks is that we've allowed the steaks to come to room temperature or at least out of the fridge for about an hour before we get started. That's important because once the steaks hit the grill, the temperature of the grill is going to drop dramatically if the steaks themselves are really cold. All right, so we've got our steaks pulled out. They're come to room temperature. We've hit them with a decent amount of seasoning. Thinner steak, you're gonna season a little less, and a thicker steak, you're gonna season a little more. So today we've got a New York strip steak. We've got a Snake River Farms Denver, two of them actually, and an extra aged bone-in ribeye steak. So you can see these are all approximately the same thickness. We're at about 1 to 1.5 inches per steak. Well, this piece of Denver is a little bit thinner than the other ones, and that's always going to influence how long each side takes. But we're just going to give an approximation here. So for a room temperature steak, about 1 inch thick. I'm going to close the lid. We're going to give the steak an opportunity to get to a higher internal temperature, and then we're going to turn. Alright, so we've let our steaks cook for a little while on this side. And when I put these steaks on, we're going for kind of a 45-degree angle towards the corner of the grill. And when we turn these, we're just going to turn them to the other side. This is going to promote more even cooking with the steak. When we go to cook it on the next side, then we're going to turn it another 45 degrees. I got some scraps cooking up on the side here because they look really tasty. Alright, so on our next turn here, instead of flipping over to the other side, we're actually just going to rotate these guys 45 degrees. And again, what that's going to do is it's going to promote a more even cooking, so that you ensure that if your grill has any hot spots, you've rotated your product so that you can capture those hot spots, make sure that pieces don't overcook while other parts of the steak don't get the temperature you like. What I'd recommend for taking temperatures is a probe thermometer. This one's a digital probe thermometer, works out really well. This is what we use in the restaurant. So I'm going to just take the internal temperature real quick here. And we're looking at about 70 degrees internal temp on these Denvers. So I know just from experience that we're probably about 5 to 8 minutes away from being complete on these. The Denvers are going to be the steaks that we're going to pull first from the grill because their internal musculature has a tendency to promote heat transfer faster. So we're going to pull the Denvers when we hit about 90 to 100 degrees because they're going to climb a good 15 degrees or so. Now if you have a really strong grill, feel free to flip your steaks as much as you want. I try and flip them about 4 times throughout the cooking process. That gives us this nice little quadrillage pattern here. But if you don't care about that, then you feel free to flip your steak as often as possible. So after we've given our steaks about 5-6 minutes per side, we're gonna take the internal temperature here. And this New York is reading between 90 and 100 degrees, give or take, depending on the part of the steak. So we can pull this to the top part of our grill, or we can pull that off the grill and let that rest up for a medium rare. We're going to do the same for our Denvers here also. Now because this ribeye is a bone-in cut of meat, it's going to take a little bit longer to cook than our boneless ones are, so we're going to give him just a little while longer. Going to let the Denvers and the New Yorks rest up.